What's the best advice you could give a young journalist?
Uh, Strive for neutral coverage. Remember, it's the two things: be fair, but be interesting. It's not always easy because
Yeah.
the easiest way to spice up a news report is to stick your opinion in it, which will catch people's attention. But if you can do those two things, be interesting and be fair, you're on the right track.
Do you have a great Joe Biden story?
Yes, I have a story I like to tell because it illustrates two things about Biden. I was asked by the New Republic back in the late 80s when he was thinking about running for president the first time to do a piece about him. I was covering the Senate at the time, and I thought Biden was an uncomparable blowhard and would talk forever. He'd get his turn in a hearing and he'd soak it all up, blabbering about his own view of things without ever asking a question or without ever giving time for an answer or whatever. And and so and the New Republic wanted me to do a profile of him, and and what I knew of him, I kind of liked him because he seemed to me he was good natured.
Yeah.
Or he seemed that way to me.
Yep.
So I asked to see him, and his office said, I don't think that's going to happen. And he finally agreed to meet with me off the record. I think we had a coffee in the Senate dining room to talk about whether he would talk to me on the record. And he said to me at the beginning of it, he said, I'll tell you, as a preface to this, I rarely, if ever, used a Biden soundbite because somebody else almost always said it shorter and better, which is what you're always looking for in a TV package, right?
Right.
So I went to see him. We sat down, and he said, "Do you have something personal against me?" And I said, "No, Senator, I don't." And he said, "Well, you don't cover me. Why is that?" And before I could stop myself, I heard myself say, "Senator, I think you're a windbag." Now Biden then, to the surprise of many people who've heard this story, threw back his head and burst out laughing and said, "Well, you're nowhere near the only person who thinks that. We went ahead and did the interview and we got along fine." And I did the interview and I included that anecdote in the piece. And we were friendly thereafter. I'm not sure, with me having said early on and often that he was senile, whether he would feel that way about me today. But that's a kind of a story on the two sides of Joe Biden.